Okay, well, welcome to our Tuesday call. Y'all, Andrea is somebody that I love. I feel like every time we're at events, we're in like these content creation like threads together, and every time I just like she just feels like home. Like she just feels like an old friend, you know? So, if you are not muted, would you please mute yourself? Okay. Anyway, so when she went diamond, it really felt like my sister had just gone diamond. And I just really wanted her to come share because you guys, the truth is, diamond doesn't happen in 5 seconds. And if it does happen in 5 seconds, then I can almost guarantee you don't have the foundation to keep it. Okay. And so I wanted y'all to hear her story and some of her tips. So anyway, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, you guys, you are on one of the best teams in Plexus. Let me just say that Jordan is amazing. She is such an inspiration to me, and I just feel so honored to be on this call speaking. And it's so funny. I was telling Jordan and I'll get to this in a little bit, but like I was telling her that her call she did with Genevieve in 2019 was like one of the things that like catapulted my business forward. And so I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit about, how I got into the business. I started in 2015, probably like a lot of you guys that were like, don't even want anything to do with the business. I need the products, right? Like I need the products for my health goals and things like that. And so I started. And then I helped my mom, and my mom was like, oh, I know a ton of people. And I'm like, okay, great. So she starts like helping friends. And I remember my friend who got me started, she's like, you literally only need like one more person to go silver, because I had signed up my mom and my best friend. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm getting my husband to do this with me so I can go silver. I had no idea what a silver was, but I was like, great. Like the bonus sounds awesome. Why not? Need to pay for my products, because at that time I had just moved to a brand new city with my husband. I had $4,000 to my name. I used to bartend, and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I literally don't want to do that anymore. I want to have more flexibility. I don't want to be, just in that industry. It's tiring. And it's just, I know when I had babies that just would not be sustainable. And so coming out of college, I was just crazy with student debt. Like student debt ruled my life. And I was like, okay, this could be when I got that first, like $200 deposited in my account. I was like, oh my gosh, like that. First of all, I was like, holy cow, you actually make money with this. Like, what the heck? And then I was like, my wheels started turning, and I was like, this could be my ticket to paying off my student debt, because my husband and I were getting married that June. And I was like, okay, like who wants to go into marriage with a ton of debt? So let's get to going. Right. So then I caught the vision really. And I was like, all right, who can we help? I went Fast Start Gold. I went Senior Gold right after, and then Ruby right after, and then Senior Ruby right after. So consecutively we were on fire. And then all of a sudden it came to a screeching halt. I remember being at convention for my first time, and I hit Senior Ruby. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, do I want to do this? Like, how crazy is that? Right. Have you guys ever hit a rank and then you start to think like, what am I doing? Like you start to get all these like scarcity mindset, or like, you're feeling like you're like, I don't deserve this. I don't know what to do. Or like all these things. And all this stuff started to like, come trickling in. And I'm like, all right, what do I want? And the thing is I wasn't solidified in my why. And I'm not talking about the why that makes you cry, but truly knowing why you are here, right? Yes, I wanted to pay my student loans off, but I'm like, okay, like, yeah, that's great. I want to do that, but that's not like really getting me up in the morning being like, I want to do this, it's like, that's great. I was able to pay a lot of them off during this. And then I started to dig deeper. And I'm thinking, okay, I want flexibility. I know for a fact, I'm not the person that wants to sit behind a desk and ask for time off. That's just not me. I've never been that person. I want to have time freedom and time flexibility, hence me being a bartender and all that stuff. It's like, I could literally just go and do as I please, just ask, whatever. And so I was like, I want that. Like, I want the time freedom. I want the flexibility. And coming from, my mom was a single mom most of my life, and just seeing how we struggled. I didn't want that for my future family. Like, I wanted to change the way that I thought about money. I was always had the scarcity mindset. every time I bought something, I felt guilty for it because I was like, I can't afford this. Or, when I went to the grocery store, I was like nervous because I'm like, is my card going to decline? Like that's thoughts that I just always had. Right. And like, I was like, I want to change. And like, for that, in that moment, I was like, that is why I'm here. Like, I want to have the flexibility of saying, if I want to take a trip and go to see my sister in Florida, I can do that without someone saying, oh, no, you can't, Andrea. Or if I want to buy all organic groceries and not blink an eye, like it's the little things truly for me. You'll find I'm really not like flashy or anything like that. It's really about just for right now, it's buying my kids the really good snacks that they like without being like, that's really expensive. It's like, those are the things like filling the fridge with good snacks for them, putting them in a school that, is a private school that I truly love, like having the ability to do those things, giving me choices, instead of, not having those choices and having to go with the traditional route. And so, when I got that, I was like, okay, here we go. So I went Emerald in 2019 and the same thing happened. I hit Emerald and my thoughts started to control me. Right. And so there's like a common theme is thoughts, right? Thoughts are just that. They're just thoughts. And when you attach a feeling to them, that's when you start to validate those thoughts. And so I realized I hadn't done a lot of mindset work. And ding, 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 you've got to do the mindset work. If you want to be here, you have to get your mindset like in check. And that is hard, you guys. That's when we start to pull back. That's when we start to say, well, maybe this just isn't for me, because we find all the things that make us uncomfortable. And we'll say, yeah, I just can't. My kids have soccer, 8 to 9 on Wednesdays. I can't make that work. Or, my kid's been sick, or, I have X, Y, and Z. And it's all of these things that we validate because we're uncomfortable, and change is hard. Okay. Change is hard. And so, I remember hitting Emerald, and the next month I slid right back down, not Emerald points. And I was not Emerald. I hit Emerald, let's see, April of 2019. I was devastated for sure. But you guys, what I've learned in this whole journey, I've been doing Plexus for almost 7 years, is that failure means nothing about you. If you can take a lesson from the failures, from the missed goals, then that is when you are in the right place, right? In your head, like you can say, I didn't fail. This isn't for me. If you can take a lesson from that and then apply it to your next go, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. But it's when you say, I failed, I don't want to do it again, that was too much. That's when you really have to look at it and say, is this worth it? Is this worth it to me? Is my why strong enough? And so I was like sitting there, I'm like, okay, what are we lacking on my team? Right. I'm sitting there doing like an evaluation, and I'm like, okay, what are we lacking? What are we lacking? I'm looking, I'm like, okay, if you guys know me, I am like very action oriented. Like I want to just give me the facts. Like I want to do the things, give me the facts, like, let's go. Whatever, don't give me the fluff. And so that was great and all, but you can do action all day. But if your mindset is not in it, you're not going to be able to sustain anything, right? Points, culture, your team. Like if you are just hardcore action all day on mind, it's going to be really hard. And so that's and also two systems. And so this is where Jordan comes in. So I remember sitting at my table and I'm like, okay, we don't have a system. We do not have a system. And at that time, my upline decided to take a step back. And so I'm like, okay, my upline is gone. I am at my lowest points from Emerald. Okay, what the heck do I do? And I was like, I can either quit or I can figure this out, and I'm not a quitter. And I knew that I could figure this out. I can figure this out on my own. I can figure it out. And so I like sat down and I'm like, okay, we need a system. And so I went scoring the jewel page. I'm like, okay, systems. And I came up on Jordan's video with Genevieve, and I was like, all right, I sat there and I just listened over and over and over. And I took bits and pieces from that and I created a system. And you guys, the thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. I didn't even wait for it to be perfect, I grabbed my girl Heather and I was like, all right, guys, this is what we're doing. We're going to start the system and we're just going to try it out and we're going to pivot along the way. But we have got to have something, an onboarding process. We have to learn how to develop silvers because there was no developing of silvers. We just put it in action. And over that time, we have definitely refined, and that's great. I'm still refining my system as a diamond. Like, you're always going to be changing, and that's like the biggest part. Don't wait. It's going to change eventually, so you just put it out there. And so I remember 2020, I was like, okay, we're doing this. We are flipping doing this. We are going to like get back those emerald points. My girls, they are going to, re-rank, and we're just going to just crush 2020. Right. And so I started 2020 January out at 625 points. And I don't say this because I want you to know like what is possible when you just switch on that belief, right? It doesn't matter what Jordan's doing. It doesn't matter what, Emily Roberts is doing or Celeste Glynn's doing. It doesn't matter. It matters what you are doing and how well you do it within what you have, right? Like if you show up and you're like, I'm giving 100% today, even if one person shows up to your Zoom, who cares? Who cares? I have had ebbs and flows through my whole entire business. Like we have had, my friend Brianna and I, she is like Brianna and Heather are like my girls. And sometimes it's just us on the Zoom, right? It would just be us. And we'd be like, okay, well, we're not going to just log off. We're going to figure it out. We're going to work. We're going to do something. And then more and more people started to join and more and more people started to join. And now we have like over 40 plus people getting on our team call because we were consistent, you guys. So don't let that one thing decide for you. Continue to do it. And so as we were going through, I started at 625. And then in November, I refined my systems. You guys have wonderful systems. And in November 2020, I hit Sapphire. And we were like, okay, like we had learned so much from just digging in. And here's the thing, like my first round to Emerald, I burnt myself out. I did it the wrong way. I did it out of scarcity. I did it out of like, just being like, this is the way you gotta do it, balls to the wall. Like, don't get me wrong. Like of course, I know everyone in here has had a push month. You have to amp up the work, but to the point where you feel like you're like just dying, like that's not joyful, right? And I was like, I want to bring joy back into this business for me. And when I did that, I had to do things the second time around the way I wanted to do them. And I had to break a lot of the things that I learned early on. And so when I got comfortable doing it the way I wanted to do it, and that's the beauty of the business, is you can literally bring joy back into the business and do it how you want to do it. And it was just, it was just like electric. Like, I don't know, like my team was just like, I could tell they took a deep breath and they're like, okay, like we got this. We know what we're doing. We feel equipped. We feel empowered. And so just creating that team culture. And here's the thing, like we had to get together. And I know maybe you're thinking, oh my gosh, like that, that costs money or X and Z. Here's the thing, get a group of your girls together and you guys pitch in and get together, just make it happen. I know life is crazy. I have 3 under 3. Well, actually just turned 4. Like we moved into a new house. So I just had a baby in February. We built our house. I'm sitting in it right now with boxes everywhere. Like you guys, you can make it happen. It's just prioritizing what you want and how that looks each day. And so culture is everything. And so for me, I just know like, if I can get my girls together and we can see each other face to face, if we can hug each other's neck, if we can talk or whatever, and maybe, a lot of my team doesn't live where I live. And so maybe that's a Zoom or maybe that's meeting halfway. Do what you can, because I will tell you, when you come back from that, your cup is going to be so full and your team is going to be so full of just like, I don't know, it's just like a rebirth, I swear. And so we had a retreat. It was the best thing ever. And then we stayed steady at Sapphire. We just were, we climb up and then we go back down, we climb up and then we go back down. I never lost Sapphire rank though. And so I was really proud of that. Because that told me, because listen, let me tell you guys, I want to tell you guys something and I want you to listen. Maintaining your rank, if you're a tick that you're at 250 and you've been there, I'll say 2 things. and I love you guys, and I might step on some toes, but 2 things, maintaining is hard and you're doing good. But also too, if you're maintaining, there's something you're unwilling to do. And so I want you to find that thing that you are unwilling to do to take you to the next rank. Okay. So it can be, I don't know, it could be sending messages. It could be sitting down and doing your IPA. It could be asking for help. Okay. We're not mind readers. We need you to come to us and say, we need help. We feel, some type of way. But here's the thing. Don't say you're stuck. My team knows I do not like that word at all. Stuck. You're not a tree. It just means you're unwilling to do something. You're unwilling to, get uncomfortable to the point it makes your like armpit sweat, right? Like when you feel uncomfortable, like truly, that's the move you must make. Okay. That is the move you must make to go forward. And that is every time I feel like I am like kind of like being idle, I'm like, all right, Andrea, what are you not doing? And I sit and I just make a list of all the things that I'm nervous about, right? Or like, have these thoughts around. And guess what? That's what I do that's what I do that next day. I'm like, all right, you got to do this, 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 and this. And whatever that is, you guys know this, practice makes perfect. You don't have to have the perfect post, the perfect reel, 1,000 followers. You guys, you're perfect. Truly the way you are and showing up authentically you is going to absolutely bring those people in. And I know right now, maybe you're thinking, I just need a business builder. I just need to, post more on social media. I don't know what to post, but here's the thing. You have to be your own business builder first, right? You have to want this first for yourself, and you have to show up first for yourself. And that's something that I had to tell myself, right? Like, of course I wanted a business builder. Of course I wanted to get back to 1,500 points, but I was like, you have to be your own business builder right now. You have to do the action steps first, and then you go train your team. Like I can't expect my team to sit there and say, okay, go send 20 messages when I'm not sending 20 messages, right? Or let's get this wellness event going when I'm not doing the wellness events. And the thing is your team knows when you aren't showing up. You might think that you might be able to like pass it off for like a week, 2 weeks, but I guarantee they know when you are not present. Okay. Like popping into your chats is super important. I mean, being, if you have an IPA challenge, you best bet that you better be checking in that IPA thread saying, hey, I'm done. Here's what I did today. I'm showing you guys this. This is the verbiage that worked for me. This is what it looks like. Here I am. You guys, don't base your leadership worth off of a dead chat. Okay. Just don't. We all get caught up in our feels. I don't know if you guys are feeling, but like, I've been there before. I'm like, I'm a terrible leader. Oh my gosh. That's not true. Guys, it's not true. The work behind that chat is what's going to get it. Okay. Like you taking one person out of that chat and saying, let's work together. Let's do this one-on-one. That is what's going to start those little fires. You guys just think about doing the little fires every single day. What can start a little fire? Is that your level 1 who's loving their products? Maybe you need to go love on them a little bit more. Maybe you need to ask them for a shout out. Maybe you need to ask them for a wellness chat event, like whatever that may be. Just start small. You don't have to message all 20 level 1s. That was my issue. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go big. And it was like my first day getting back into it. I'm like, I'm going to message 60 people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't message. Like, at the end, I'm like, why could I not just start out with 10? And then, okay, 10 more and then 10 more. And so you just take it in bite-sized pieces. But here's the thing. Don't quit. Don't quit. Remind yourself why you are here. You're here for a reason. If you are getting on these calls every Tuesday, I tell my team all the time. If you're taking time away from your family, you better make it worth it. And that is so true, because if you're getting on these team calls every Tuesday and you're listening to what Jordan and your other leaders are saying, and you're like, yes, yes, yes. And you're pumped up. But as soon as you get off these calls, like your balloon just kind of like, boop, you have got to find that internal motivation to keep going. You have to take what they say, put it into immediate action, not next week, not the week after next. And you will see that if you give it 90 days, I'm a firm believer of 90 days. I really am, because you can't base something off 30 days. Just like we tell our customers, you're not going to see much happening in 30 days. You're kind of just getting used to the situation. You might feel some more energy, right? That's kind of how the first 30 days are. The 60 days, you get a little more comfortable. 90 days, you start seeing these results, people start clicking. I don't know how many times I do team calls and we go over the same thing. And then it's like light bulbs go off, right? And I always tell my team, we're going to train on this until we start to see light bulbs go off. And that's what I want you to do in your business. What is that one thing you're avoiding? What is that one thing that you're just like, nope, I'm so nervous to do it. Talk yourself through it. It's just a thought. When you attach the feeling to it, that's what gives it weight, right? And so think about that one thing that you are unwilling to do. And I want you to go do that tomorrow. That is my challenge for you, is to do that one thing that you're scared of and go and do it. Do it scared. You won't die. You're not going to, poof out of air. Like, you're going to rock it, and you have to believe that. And so I remember just thinking, holy cow, how could, I always knew I would be diamond. I didn't know when, but I always knew I would be diamond. Sorry, y'all, my messenger thing. Hold on. I didn't know when, but I could always just envision myself being a diamond, having choices. And it's so crazy because this income from Plexus was definitely not something I ever thought I could do or would do, or actually, I never thought people could earn this much money with network marketing. I truly didn't. I made fun of people that were network marketing. I was like, I remember my friend telling me, you need this for your bloating, your constipation, all of that. And I'm like, yeah, but what is it? And I was like, I don't have 100 and I don't even know how much it was back then. I don't have that much money to put towards it. And that's when she told me about, the referral system. So if you're shying away from telling people about the opportunity, then I truly want you to, the next time you get on a call with someone, I want you to say, hey, if you love these products, are you willing to share? Tell them about what is available, because if someone didn't share with me, I would not be here. If someone didn't continue to pour belief into me and said, Andrea, just share your testimony on Facebook, just share it, I wouldn't be here. So go and look in your back office. See what gold you already have there. Who have you not loved on recently that's loving their products? Go and cast vision to them and just ask them, hey, could you give me a shout out? These are the foundational things that can move the needle forward in your business. And it's the basics. Don't get caught up in, all of these, different things. And that's when I feel like when my business was going kind of everywhere, I didn't have a system. And so if you feel like if you couldn't give someone, a one-page thing and say, here, this is what you need to do right when they sign up, then you need to refine your system and just say, okay, first a post, then a wellness event, then we're going to message some people, and then we're going to rinse and repeat, because this is the question I get all the time is well, what do I do after all of that? You just do it again. You have them do a post. They can have, I've had literally all my new level ones, they have multiple wellness chats because I'm like, I know you have more friends than this. We are going to dig, and getting on Zooms. Don't be afraid to get on Zooms with them and work with them one-on-one. Let me see anything else. Yeah. Consistent, invest in your growth, you guys. So how many of you guys invest in personal growth? Are you guys listening to podcasts? Do you guys, I love, just the thought model. I know you guys can maybe tell about that, but I love Kristen Boss and things like that. I make sure that I tell my team, invest in yourself, even if it's $10 a month to do something. You'll never regret growing your mindset. You will never regret that, because that is not only going to enrich what you have to give back to people, but it's also going to attract higher prospects. You're going to be sharing that knowledge. You're going to be, giving that back to people who need it. And they are going to come to you and be like, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that. You're going to connect with so many people on different levels when you have something to share. Especially when I used to say, I don't have anything to give. I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm not reading a book. I'm not listening to podcasts. I'm not investing. I'm not going to, events outside of Plexus and growing my mindset. But when you do that, you truly start to feel like a different human being. And so anyways, Jordan, do you have any questions? I feel like that I've talked really fast, but
no. Well, before we do questions, I want y'all drop your questions in the chat. We're going to do questions a little bit different. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat, and I'm going to let her pull the ones she wants to talk on. But I have to tell you this, okay? This is a total compliment to you. I have never watched a training video from you ever. And do you have a YouTube channel? Because if so, I'm going to go watch all of them this week. You're such a good trainer. Like, thank you for sharing that with us.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And I also wanted to just point out, while y'all are dropping questions, if y'all have any for her, did y'all hear her when she said she went from 600 to 2,000, 2,500? What is Sapphire? Oh my gosh.
3,000.
3,000. Yeah. 600 to 3,000 points from January to November. Did y'all hear that? Did anyone else hear that? I'm just making sure that that was heard. That's a lot. So I had a question really quick. Were you rebuilding most of your team during that period, or did you have like lots of new runners, lots of level 1 runners? Did you find your Sapphire during that season? What was that like?
Honestly, all new builds. I had my level 1, who is now an emerald. Sorry, I keep getting the dings from the message. I don't know how to turn it off. But
we can come on our end.
What is it? Oh, no, dings from my like text message on my phone or on my computer. I'm like, sorry, I don't know how to turn it off, but I'm not very good at technology. And then my Sapphire now, she was with me from like the second year. And so those were like my ride or dies, and we just kind of really just linked arms and built basically a whole new team. And yeah, from the ground, I mean, it really was from the ground up, and it felt good. And I want to tell you guys also too, like, if you're don't think, because if you're thinking sitting here like, oh, I bet like Jules don't ever go through the rebuilding phases, or they don't ever get discouraged, or they don't ever not everyone's coming and knocking on our door being like, hey, we want to do this. Like, we do the exact same things that you guys do. I tell my team, I don't have like a lockbox of secret messages that I send that I'm keeping from you guys. Like, I do exactly what I tell you guys that I'm doing and showing you guys. The only difference between where I am and where you may be is just, I've literally been through the trenches about 10,000 times, and I'm just still here. And yes, you're going to have all the emotions, and it's going to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. Creating another 6-figure income outside of what you're doing is not supposed to be easy. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it. Jordan, would you do it over again? I would do it over again.
I am doing it over again because it's
you are doing it over again. Yeah. It's so worth it. It really is.
Chandler had a question. She wanted to know, like, what's your biggest tip, or what's something that really helped you grow out of having a scarcity mindset? Anything specific, a big book or anything you can think of?
Honestly, just listening to scarcity like podcasts, and just kind of figuring out what the root of my, like, where that would come from, like not being good enough, like having that imposter syndrome of, it's like I would hit a rank and then I would feel small again and be like, I don't know what to do. And just trusting yourself. And I think that starts with belief and being good to yourself, truly just being good to yourself and saying good things to yourself, and doing the uncomfortable things. That's really what got me out of my scarcity mindset, of like just saying like, shut up, brain. Like, I just got really good about talking back to my inner critic. Like, truly, I did. I was just like, shh, we're going to do this,
Yes, I totally agree. And I also really loved when you talked about how when you get comfortable or things seem like easy, or it's like, oh, this has been like easy breezy. It's like, whoa. This is too easy. Like, what am I doing? I haven't done anything scary lately. Like, I need to go do some stuff. I need to go get some no's. Like, I need to go do some stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way.
Yeah. You create problems.
Yes. Go create problems that you get to go solve, right? Because the more activity you're in, the more problems you're going to have to solve. Yeah. Favorite person and podcast to listen to. You already mentioned Kristen Boss. Is there anybody else that you want to mention?
I love Ed Milet. He's not like any network, but he will give it to you straight, and he is so good. So if you need some, like, your feathers ruffled a little bit, he's great.
Yes. What is your Enneagram number?
7.
She's a 7. Jordan Gibson, you hear that? Top 3 favorite leadership books that you have read.
What to say when you talk to yourself. I love that one. It's an oldie but a goodie. The Atomic Habits. We just got done reading that. And let's see, the slight edge. We are getting ready to do that one again. I love, love, love those. And then I love John Maxwell. He's a little hard read, but if you can, focus, he's amazing too. Like the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And then I just ordered the Ed Mylett book. It's called, I think it's like Just One More Thing or something like that. I'm excited to read that. So
yeah. So if you're 7, how do you keep it fun? Because 7s oftentimes really they have to have that inspiration all the time. Like, okay, if it gets a little bit boring, it's like you tend to want to back away. So how do you keep it fun?
Oh, that is hard. Because I if it's not fun, I'm like, ooh, or if I have to create my space. Like if I come in, I have to have good music. I have to create a vibe. I really do. Like I have to walk into my space. I have to have good music. I have to have like candles going. Like, I don't know, you just have to create your vibe. Like I have a hard time just sitting down and being like, okay, I'm not the nooks and cranny girl. I'm not. My mind goes everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I have to create that vibe for me to sit down. Now, not every day's a vibe, but it's like when I feel myself kind of swaying, I'm like, all right, we got to keep it fun. Getting on Zooms with your team, that I love to talk, obviously. And so it's like, if I can get on and help someone or be in it, I always just love to be talking to someone. So doing that. Yeah.
Well, and you talked about your joy back in your business. So it's like, you probably learned that about yourself, probably pretty couple years in, that you had to create your vibe in order to feel that.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to make it fun, you guys. And when it's not fun, you have to really check yourself and say why am I not making this fun? Because it truly is fun. 90% of the time it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. One last question. Anybody want to ask one more before we hop off? I don't see anywhere in the chat. Okay. Well, I just want to tell you, thank you, because if you didn't know, you are an excellent trainer. And I seriously, I haven't taken notes on a training in a while, and I took notes, and a lot of them, you can see my paper. So thank you so much for sharing with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Seriously.
Yes. Okay, y'all. Well, y'all go follow her on Instagram. And what's your Instagram handle?
Andrea Nicole Derrick.
Okay. Y'all go follow her on Instagram because she takes beautiful pictures. And thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your time and spending time away from your babies tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Bye, Jordan. Thank you, guys.